This canela brown skin of mine carries a degree of history with a pinch of spicy misery as its seasoning, sprinkled over centuries of my ancestry. You don't believe? Come get a taste of me so you can understand why descent is indigenous to my inner fields that yield crops of insurgency. You see, I'm a descendant, a product of war. My melanin carries a legacy that on hot summer days it don't hesitate to seep through my pores. I sweat droplets of Mexico's 1910 revolution. I sweat the spirit of Emiliano Zapata screaming, I'd rather die fighting on my feet than live a lifetime on my knees. In my eyes, pupils you can see Pancho Villa riding for the stolen land Uncle Sam in 1846 took from Mexico's hands. My fingertips, the contours on them resemble the fields where to this day farm workers harvest the crops dropped off at local stores. Yet at the border they closing the doors. I think they forget America be sustained by immigrants from all over the world. Give them amnesty, full citizenship, and more. Yo, but my feet never walked it. I never made the journey from Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, El Salvador. I'm a seed of immigrant parents, father from Veracruz, mother from a pueblo outside Mexico City, San Mateo Atenco. I happen to sprout out the cracks of the ghetto trash crowded sidewalks, the gutter of a supposed civil society, which casi nadie give a about, where hardly anyone shines a beam of hope. But I'm not sinking because I'm not in a boat. Despite the legacy of misery sprinkled over centuries of my ancestry, I stand afire sending signals of smoke, because my ancestry's history contains a universe unexplored whose essence can't be captured by words an author wrote. It contains clusters of constellations, tribal nations living in unification with each other and the ways of earth. Knowledge known that harming her is no doubt only ourselves we hurt, but I'm not ready or willing to make a turn for the worst. In my arms, I'll carry my culture first before I help to carry it out of this world in a casket. Like a volcano with pride, I'll burst, burning to ashes the disrespect, the rude and crude attitude shown. My people of the sun, for you, I carry a song of hope on my tongue, and in my memory runs your revolution-prone cyclone on a megaphone shouting echoes that never let go or get tired of reminding me of the legacy that my flesh embodies. So when the sun bathes my body, and at an angle you are able to see my shadow and its following. As for the extra company, they are my ancestry, which this canela brown skin of mine carries. This piece is called Ubuntu, and it's a South African concept that I learned in my travels out there in January. I went out to Durban, South Africa to take part on a global exchange program that our organization got invited to by the British Council. And Ubuntu is, it means I am because you are because we are. And to my understanding, in a lot of like the indigenous traditions I've been exposed to, it's kind of like the Mayan concept of In Lakesh, which is you are the other me, or yo soy tu otro yo, or tú eres el otro yo, you know. And then in the Lakota version of things, because we take parts in sweat lodges and stuff like that, Ubuntu in Lakesh is related to Ometakoyase, which is to all my relations. And so this poem for me means that, you know, Ubuntu is kind of like me embracing all of those three concepts and kind of meshing them all into one, and recognizing the parallels between cultures and stuff. So it's kind of honoring those connections that I've been able to kind of, I guess, see, or privileged to see, really. So without dropping the microphone, I'll do it. And it's kind of fresh, so if I stumble here and there, too bad. You got to witness some kind of raw stuff, so some real stuff. So here goes. Exactly, right? I skip over clouds and cross continents like bridges in search of connection to embrace my grandmother land and its richness. I can imagine the difficulty. Reaching into the past is no easy task when form is made never to last past the grasping hands of time. Traveled to Durban, South African streets to find memory modestly mimicking eternity as I stand on Zulu kingdom land, seeing similarities in cultures band together, spinning on the palm of my hand. I let deja vu give clues as proof to volume, speaking directly to migration patterns between clans and continents, using hot and cold water currents to travel constantly, guided by star maps dangling over blue sky, infinitely bearing witness to the voyages, an age-old black and brown exchange before Europe interrupted in creator's name, ordained change to choke and chastise human frames. Before the inhumane treatment, we was humans reaping the benefit of trade between distant relatives who left relics and gifts preserved as fossils in red earth like fingerprints, as if to say we was here first. Left sun and moon pyramids to lurk in jungles masked in rebirth without a wet nurse present to facilitate this labor of love. So I put on gloves and roll up sleeves and begin to dig deep into the graves of history. Let brave souls repeatedly haunt the hallways of our memory until raw roots with linked legacies like windows display how much alike we are. We wear the scars, the welts from whips of slavery. Sweat has dripped from our chin from laboring in the fields of injustice, shot and killed like Oscar Grant by police brutality, segregated on American streets like apartheid inside South Africa, revealing the overlooked truth that basically I am the other you, you are the other me. A people bound by struggle and resilience. Our parents and grandparents and millions marched the streets with, like Gandhi, with Dolores Huerta, Cesar Chavez, Martin Luther King, Fannie Lou Hamer, Rosa Parks, Malcolm X to defeat the wrath of picking grapes without breaks or appropriate living quarters. Stop depositing quarters into public transit bus stops to look Jim Crow in the face with a roaring fire burning in our eyes, a look that would make Willie Lynch flinch in his grave as we proclaim from slum hallways across the nation. America, we have something you can't ever take. We are the reoccurring dreams interrupting a constant nightmare too often passed for reality. Despite the divisive strategy, the divide we're traveling. Thank you. I just want to leave with this. Something hip-hop-ish. Something, give me some. Let's see what happens. I was told never make mistakes, got older realized believing in this idea was a big mistake. It hurt, but I opened my third eye, learned to shed skin like a snake, inhale a deep breath, keep me focused on the mission with each step I take. Gotta blossom like a lotus, I notice my motives for living have changed. Used to be a rebel without a cause, in the streets a sheep behind the herd, dancing with the devil. I was lost at the crossroads, found direction in my life as an inner city dweller. I rise from knees to feet, struggle but keep it together. Can't kiss the pinky ring of defeat, it's not in my DNA, not now, not never. Done wasting my days for free over things that leave me spiritually broke. Gotta invest in me to see my wealth grow. Thank you, big ups to everyone, man, serious for staying around. Big ups to Indigo, keep this going, man, we need more spaces like this.